Rain by Edward Thomas, 1878 to 1917. Rain, midnight rain, nothing but the wild rain on this bleak hut, and solitude, and me remembering again that I shall die, and neither hear the rain nor give it thanks for washing me cleaner than I have been since I was born into this solitude. Blessed are the dead that the rain rains upon, but here I pray that none whom once I loved is dying tonight, or lying still awake, solitary, listening to the rain, either in pain or thus in sympathy, helpless among the living and the dead, like a cold water among broken reeds, myriads of broken reeds, all still and stiff, like me, who have no love, which this wild rain has not dissolved, except the love of death, if love it be towards what is perfect cannot, the tempest tells me, disappoint. Okay, so this poem is called Rain. It's by Edward Thomas. Edward Thomas was he was born and brought up in South London. He went to St Paul's School. He was born into a Welsh family. He was known as a journalist. He wrote essays and as a poet, and as a war poet as well. Notice the key here is 1917. If he died in 1917, that means normally that he was killed during the First World War, and that's exactly what happened. So, Rain. The context of this poem, Rain, he's writing this poem while he's in the trenches during the First World War. And this poem is talking about him sitting there in the trenches in a wooden hut, and he's thinking about death. Because he's in a situation where he sees people dying around him every day, and he's thinking about his own mortality and his relationship with death. So, there's not much punctuation in this. It just runs on. It's like one long enjambment. So, rain, midnight rain, nothing but the wild rain on this bleak hut, and solitude and me. And solitude. So he's alone in the rain, and it's midnight, and it sounds to me like he might be on guard or something like that. And he's thinking about life and his future. Yeah, so it's raining, it's raining, it's raining. And notice in this poem he repeats this word rain again and again. And I think that almost echoes the rain falling and falling, like this rain is eternal. Maybe also I get the feeling that the rain, it's like the earth crying for the dead, and these are teardrops falling. Okay, so it's raining, and me remembering again that I shall die. So he can't forget that he's going to die. Yeah? Because the possibility of death is ever present with him. And, well, he's going to die one day. This is what happens to all of us. And neither hear the rain nor give it thanks for washing me cleaner than I have been since I was born into this solitude. And when I die, I won't be able to hear the rain, and I won't be able to thank the rain for washing me cleaner, for making me clean, than I have been since I was born into this solitude. So I think this solitude, this is talking about the First World War. And here, I think, firstly, washing in the trenches was a very difficult thing. So I think, firstly, it's saying that it's actually washing him clean physically. But here, he's really talking about his soul, his feelings, because at least it feels like the rain is washing away some of the horrors of war. Okay, so he's saying when he dies, then he's not going to feel the rain or be able to thank it for washing away, perhaps washing away his sins or washing away the horror. Blessed are the dead that the rain rains upon. So maybe the dead are lucky in some way because they're out of this situation. At least they don't have to withstand all of these problems. They don't have to withstand the solitude. So I think he's thinking about also the people that he knows that have died. But here I pray that none whom once I loved is dying tonight, or lying awake solitary, listening to the rain. So I pray, I hope, I beg God that none of the people that I once loved, because he feels alone, and I think he feels rather unloved and forgotten here alone in the rain thinking about death. And he hopes that none of them are dying tonight or lying still awake, or they can't sleep because they're alone, listening to the rain, either in pain. I love this, listening to the rain, either in pain. This sounds to me rather like a rap line, because poetry, normally you rhyme the end of the line with the end of the line, but here, the rain either in pain, or thus in sympathy. Okay, so he hopes none of them are lying awake or awake listening to the rain, in pain, suffering, or thus in sympathy. And if they're lying awake, they're feeling sympathy for the people who've died. Helpless among the living and the dead. Okay, so people awake in this war, or maybe the ones at home wondering and worrying, and the people that are alive are living in a half world. Yeah, maybe the soldiers, they may be alive, but they're effectively in a state of limbo between the living and the dead, because soon they will die. And then he makes a metaphor of this world among the living and the dead, like a cold water among broken reeds. Myriads of broken reeds, all still and stiff. Okay, so this metaphor, the reeds are these plants that grow on the edges of the river, and normally the water among the reeds, the reeds grow where the water flows very, very slowly, or it almost doesn't change. So he's making a metaphor, saying that living at this time, or at the moment, he himself is in a situation like cold water that's stuck among the broken reeds. Yeah, myriads of broken reeds. I like this use of broken reeds as well, because this I guess is another metaphor, because the war doesn't only kill people, but it kills their minds, it kills their worlds, and they're unable to live their life to the fullest. All they are doing is surviving until death comes for them. myriads of broken reeds all still and stiff. So they're rigid and unable to move. You know, they're trapped in this situation. Like me, who have no love, which this wild rain has not dissolved except the love of death. So these people like him, yeah, and there is nothing for them to love except death. So the only thing that he really loves now is death. I think he's wondering about if death came to him, then he would be free from this situation. Love is the only constant, is the only thing that he's certain about. Yeah, and he's living in a world that effectively death is worshipped. It's a charnel house. Okay, so the rain has washed away all love except for the love of death. So love is not constant except love of death. If love it be, so if you can love death, if this feeling for death is love towards what is perfect and cannot, the tempest tells me, disappoint. So he's saying death is perfect and it will not disappoint you. It will come. Yeah, death can never let you down. Yeah, it is the one thing that you can guarantee in this life. So a very contemplative poem. Sadly, he was killed at Arras in 1917. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Rain by Edward Thomas.